It is just before 9, Thursday, October 14th. Day off. I worked the weekend. It's back to my rotation again. I'm really excited to get back to this project because it's been actually probably since the last time I had one of these vlogs since I was really able to work on this. Decided to get the A-framies a whack out because I'm going to have to do a little more detailed concentration with this and things like that, and that's almost seems a little intimidating for me right now to do it on the table. So I'm getting this set up. Also, I kind of want to avoid hunching over today. I got my being a healthcare worker, I was able to get my third booster shot for the COVID vaccine. So my shoulder is still a little sore, not as bad as it was yesterday, of course, but I'm not at 100% shoulder rotation for this, so having a slighter range of motion I think is a good thing. But yeah, I haven't. Stuff's been sitting so long. My covered palette is now dry, so I have to remake all my colors and figure out what's what, and probably drag my light out over here now that I'm looking at this stuff. I think I had the live show set up at some point, but I can't seem to find that clippy. Oh, fantastic. I gotta find that. Somewhere. Shit. Where'd I put that? Keep going back and looking in the same place like it's gonna show up there. Unless it fell on the floor, in which case, God help me.
If the laws of physics no longer apply in the future, God help you.
Ah, I was right. It did fall somewhere. I keep telling myself to get a bigger power strip for down here, and I keep forgetting. Oh, that's the one I unplugged. That's why. There we go. Make sure I'm not tripping on everything, because that would be bad. Need to try to get a bit more work done on this now, since it's been way too long since I started it. And I hope I don't lose interest in halfway through, because that's always seems to be the problem. Is if I let things sit too long, I lose interest in it, and then I never get anything done. So I put the base layer down for this coral stuff the last time. It needs a lot more textural work, specifically little nodules and barnacle-y things all over it. So I'm going to work with some smaller brushes and start getting some indications of some other shapes and things into there. And then I want to do the whole layer of the whole thing with some of that smoked blue to just to kind of oceanify it, so it doesn't look like it just pops out of the page too much, or the canvas too much. Page. Starting to debate whether or not I want to do that the upper layers with oil for this one. I think it might actually look pretty awesome if I do that. I'm gonna quit talking and get to work. Actually pretty funny. This brush is really beat up, but for this sort of semi-haphazardy, slightly detail-y thing that I'm doing with the coral, it's actually perfect for this. Like I know I'm not going to be able to get a great line with that, but I'm not really trying to, because I put the lines in already. I'm just trying to build a little extra color into that. So the odds of needing because I got my liner brush out, and I'll still end up using it for the dark layers. But sort of the mid-tone and highlight stuff I'm doing right now is this brush is weirdly just super useful for it. Okay, so I think, about as done with the corally sections as I want to be. Probably shouldn't have done this, but I at some point looked up an actual picture of pink coral, and I should not have done that because now I know that mine looks like absolute garbage. So I played a little bit with some craggly shapes and things. I might pull in some other lighter sections much later in the piece for finishing work and things like that. But it's what it is. Just accept it and move on. Ended up tossing some window lights in there as well to kind of help unify that with the background a little bit more. So at this point, I'm going to toss in some heavier medium, put these 4 rocks in. I did want to figure out how to do a submarine thing and put that down in here. And I want to lighten up this area of the foreground and really get the base land in. My original layers for this, and you can find that on my Instagram, and I might put it up in the corner here somewhere, was a lot sort of like a light blue or an aqua color, so I really want to actually try and reflect that down into my lighter sections, the stuff like closest to us down here. So at this point, it's going to be laying those rocks in and getting a nice solid base color in for the land and everything like that. I should say seafloor, not so much land, because that doesn't make as much sense. And then I'm probably gonna play around with. I got to do some sketching first for that submarine to see exactly what I want that to look like and reference images and things like that. Well, less submarine, probably more like deep sea submersible. Something along those lines. Okay, so I'm starting to reach a point where I probably can't work a ton more on this today, but I do want to get the sub dropped in. I'm playing around with some designs here. It's not going to be real big, so the need for a ton of detail or a ton of accuracy is not real high. This rock in the corner I used some heavier paste on, so that's going to probably take another couple hours to dry, at least completely to where I'd want to throw on the isolation coat and start working the oil. But I actually want to hold up a second. Let's see. Yeah, I kind of want to push some more rock shapes in the foreground too, but I think I can probably work that more with the oil later. So this, to be further up, maybe about here. This is just some white charcoal. Like that, maybe, and then kind of somewhat buried in there with the bubbles coming up. Get a little bit of a mist thing going. Like hits the bottom and you get that kick up of all the dust.
All right, so I'm starting to feel a lot better about this than I was, and the way this is progressing, I'm actually thinking that doing the oil coat for this and doing the finishing work in oils is probably a bad idea. I do want to do an isolation layer, probably something with just a matte spray clear coat before I start in glazing in my other color. Just to be sure everything's down and in, and this rock again. I was able to get my highlight shadow layer on that, but I want to give it just a little more time. Mostly not wanting to use oils at this point is because the way I'm going to do the fish here. So I originally kind of had the idea of doing a big wave kind of up and in, but I like the idea of doing sort of a bit more of a bubble. So start thin, go up, and then go down again with it. I was starting to think, looking at my references here for this and what I want to do, and I'm like, what shapes do I do for the fish? Because we're not going to be so close that we'll really see the individual fish shapes, but I still want them to be close. So the what I'm looking for, I guess, is like a teardrop shape. So it'd probably be going to be a dot of paint with a round brush, and then I just pull it away. So you kind of have that shape and the fluttering. And I was thinking about this because a lot of times when you see, especially like the underwater National Geographic, Planet Earth kind of stuff, is that there's shimmers in the fish scales. So I actually have some permanent silver acrylic for this, and I think what I want to do is do that glaze coat first, and then use this with a mix of some, like, bluish greenish kind of colors, so it has that standout shimmer and shine to that, but that can only exist on that upper layer, and so I think that's really, really important for that. So things look decent. The sub turned out better than I expected, and yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and clear coat this. Okay, so I took a little bit of a break.
had some lunch, breakfast slash lunch technically. Played games for a bit, and I think at this point now where my mind's sort of leaning is just games and relaxing for the rest of the day. I don't think I need to do as much overglazing as I did, or at least said that I did before. At this point, now that things have dried a little bit more, I can see where I'm at, and that slight blue layer mostly just kicked back the yellows that I worked in with the greens in the back. So I think as long as I work some of the more gold tones into the lower base of this, it should turn out all right. But I don't think I'm going to play with it anymore today. Things are definitely better than they were, and I'm happy with the way things are turning out thus far. From this point forward, though, I do need to start thinking about some of the other projects I've got coming up soon. I've got 2, possibly 3 shows, which I need to either finish a piece for, or just dig through my inventory and find a piece for. Actually, that's the latter only refers to one of those shows. The other 2 I actually have to think about getting some other stuff done for. So I have to, at this point, probably look into playing this with some sketches and just a few other technique-driven pieces that I haven't even really begun to think about yet, and the deadline for at least one of those is in about 2 weeks. So do need to start thinking about those things as well, plus some stuff around the house. That's what I was doing a little bit earlier too. Finishing up some beans, cutting some beans, prepping some stuff that I'm going to probably do for dinner later. I've been jarring hot banana peppers that I've been growing in my garden, which every now and then I'll get 4 or 5 of them, slice them up, stick them in vinegar and salt, and throw them in the back of the refrigerator. And in about 3 months they'll be good. But little things like that I keep having to take care of, and yeah. So I think for the time being, I'm just gonna let this go and kind of just relax for the rest of the day and enjoy what I've got left for my day off. Probably record a little bit more, but for a different vlog for when I'm off for those 3 days. But you guys won't see the results of that for another 2 weeks. But this feels really good. Put in my mental studio time, and now I can actually just. It's completely changed my mental thought. Like I've been stuck in a rut for the past 2 weeks because I haven't been able to work on this, and everything just seems to have cleared up now for me. So that's good. So I'm gonna quit rambling and go ahead, and I think I'm gonna call this one a day video wise. Also, my microphone I think is like almost out of battery. At least the receiver is anyway. This one's about half, so I don't have much recording time regardless. Anyway, so if you enjoyed this part of this process and part of my journey both for this piece as well as my continued journey in creating work, hit the like button. Let me know your thoughts and comments below. Get subscribed if you're not already. And this has been with Cinder Studios, and I will see you guys next time.